Hey yoga friends, it's Heather Fraunberger of Geneve Yoga. And as I look at my reflection right now in the camera, my hair is a mess. And guess what? I don't care, because I need to teach you today how to do Agnistambhasana, which is also known as fire log pose in English. So what you'll need is a blanket and possibly a block or something to give you a little bit of support, because I will show you a few different variations of the pose. I'm going to teach as if you're going right along with me. So take your blanket, and here is a classic fold in a blanket. Again, you can use a throw blanket that has a little bit of body to it. That would work just fine. And I prefer to have it folded again, right? So I have maybe that 3/4 fold. I turn my blanket so it's facing forward, and I am going to sit my tailbone right on the fold of the blanket. So go right along with me. Sit right on the edge of your blanket. Now, the soles of my feet are on the floor, and you can do that too. Bend your knees and have the soles of your feet on the floor. And I'll be a mirror image for you. Actually, I don't think I need to be, so I'm going to actually cue you on my proper side. So take your right leg and scoot your butt a little bit to the edge of your blanket and place your right leg on the floor so your shin is parallel with the edge of your mat. Right? Now, if you have open hips, your shin will remain parallel with the top of your mat. If you're tight, the tighter you are, the closer your heel will be to your pelvis. Okay? I am going to start out here because I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. Now, I'll bring that a little closer. Lean onto your right hip. So notice my left butt came up off the mat. Take your left foot right above your knee. So now I'm placing the sole of my foot on my inner thigh right above my knee. Seems like a lot, but it'll make a lot of sense here when we come into the pose. And press the sole of your foot to the inside of your knee. You're leaning off onto your right hip. Now let's come into the pose together. It's as if you're trying to peek at the bottom of your foot to see if there's anything under your foot. So as I look under my foot, I roll to the edge of my foot and I stack my left knee to the outer edge of my right foot. And I come here. Okay? This is fire log pose. Now, if you're tight, your bottom heel can come in towards your pelvis. If this knee is hanging out in space, lend it some support. Right? Just lend a little bit of support, and you stay here. The more you lift your chest, the more you press your hip creases in here back, the more engagement you will get. So this right here is for my friends that are really tight in the hips and hamstrings. Stay here. The more you lift, the more your hip creases in the front push back, the more engagement you get. For my friends that are a little more open, right, if you stack your legs, take one hand to the ball of your right foot, take your left hand to the head of your left knee, lift your chest, pull your hip creases back, and come forward. So notice how my elbows are coming out. I'm bringing my chest down, and now I reach forward. Whatever engagement or length you're reaching forward, go for it. Press your hips back. Lift your chest. Right? Be mindful that if you're popping out in your low back or if you're popping out in the center of your back, if you are, back off and have a concave back, meaning your spine is coming down. You're still getting all that engagement in your hips. It's a lot. Continue to pull those hip creases back. And now let's come up and release. Take a moment here. If you need to reset a little bit, that's fine. And let's do the other side. So again, the soles of the feet on the floor. Now, left leg. Bring your left leg. Is that correct? Nope. Sorry, other side. Bring your right leg. No, I'm totally wrong. Totally wrong. Totally wrong. All right. Those of you who take my live classes know that this is an ongoing issue with my left-right deficiency. Okay. So the shin of your left leg parallel with the top of your mat. Roll to the outside of that left hip. Take your right foot above your right knee on the inside of your thigh. See how I'm rolled off on my left hip? Now, I'm checking the bottom of my foot. Checking the bottom of my foot for discoloring, for moles, which I do have moles on the bottom of my feet. Okay. And now I lift. Now, another thing which I didn't say on the other side, make sure your foot's not sickled, right? So your sole's facing up, your ankle is twisted, and your knee is twisting the other way. We want a flexed foot, right? So your foot and your knee are facing the same way. I'm not going to mess around. I see I'm a little bit off to an angle. My body is aligned fine, and I'm just a little off. I'm not going to mess around with that. Again, if your knee is hanging out in space, support it, right? If it's hard to have this leg parallel with the front of your mat, bring that heel in. Now here's the good stuff, right? Those of you who are tight, stay right here. Continue to lift the chest, continue to create some length, and press your hips back. Your hips might be singing right now. Listen to that singing, right? If you have a little more space, a little more room, have the ball of your left foot press into your hand, right into your knee, and use that to give you some length. And now come forward. Come forward. As you come forward, press your hips back. Press your hip creases back. Lengthen your sides. You might stay here. You might reach out. Lengthen your back. Lift your chest. Then come into the fold. Again, my friends, if it's a popping out in your low back, if it's a popping out in your mid back, please back up and get long. You know, it's not how far you go, it's how you go far, right? Our yoga practice gives us that opportunity to observe what's happening in the moment without judgment, right? Getting into the poses with the most feedback, and your feedback is going to be different than someone else's feedback, and that's okay. Let's come up and move back. Extend your legs out. Point and flex the feet. Take a deep inhale and exhale. Hands to heart center. And thank you for joining me in this video of Fire Log. The light in me sees the light in you. Don't forget to subscribe and check out my website at www.geneveyoga.com. I will not give you any hair tips today.